So I wanted to share someone asked a question about how to um, pay a visit, so to speak, or is it appropriate to pay a visit to someone in a cemetery? If a friend died or family member dies, especially nowadays with the corona situation, pandemic, there were a lot of dead people. And so what's the Jewish approach to death and mourning? The truth is, technically, if we were on the level, we should rejoice when someone dies, at least naturally, in the sense that even if it's not of a natural thing, because technically on an intellectual level, we understand that that person is a better place, and that because that person is a better place, we should be happy that person is in paradise, right? But the main reason why we mourn is because that person was a light. It brought something in this world that no one else could bring, and therefore we lack that light. We're missing that light. We're missing that special soul that was benefiting the world, and therefore for us it's a type of loss, and we mourn. But the mourning is in 3 stages. By Jews, we mourn for 7 days, then 30 days, then 1 year, or 11 months. So although there's no specific laws for non-Jews, I personally believe that the non-Jews should do something quite similar, right? So we know the first thing is sitting Shiva 7 days. So even I wouldn't say necessarily to do 7 days, but at least 3 days or minimum 1 day where one sits on the floor, and or one chooses a day where people will come visit, because it's very important especially for the close people, to pay visit, and people who truly cares about you. And that's usually very comforting. You have people coming and really trying to share your feelings. When we visit someone who is a mourner, we don't speak. We don't say hi, goodbye. We wait for the mourner to start speaking. This is the appropriate way. And once the mourner starts the conversation, then we can say things. But we have to be very, very sensitive. There's a lot of people who ask stupid questions, like why did that person die? Why, how, it's that person is in a better place. It's completely inappropriate, and a lot of people don't know what to say. It's better not to say anything and just say, I'm here for you. If you want to share something, please do share. We're here for as a support. One of the things I like to say when there's a conversation already started, one of the questions that always works thing is, what is something that you know about that person that is great? One character trait, one beautiful thing you know about that person. What's the thing that stands out the most for that person? That's always a good question we can ask. So I think the mourning stages, it says we're not supposed to cry for more than 3 days. But 7 days is the first stage by Jews. Then 30 days is another stage where we can go out of our houses already and start going back to a bit regular life. And then we have the whole year, where 11 months, where we say Kaddish, where we cannot go to parties and be involved, at least into parties. But that's only for very close relatives, right? Parents, brothers, sisters, and children, God forbid. So this is important. It really teaches us empathy and really create unity and love, respect. But how so the person was asking, how do we is it appropriate to visit someone who passed away a few days or a few months ago? a few years ago, it doesn't matter. Is it appropriate? The best way to do is to go to the grave of that person. One doesn't need to go to the grave of the person. However, if it's on the anniversary, it says in Judaism that on the I shouldn't say anniversary, on the day of death, the yortzeit, we say in English, the time of the year that a person passed away, we Jews, we follow the Hebrew calendar, the soul returns, so to speak, on some level to the place where that person is. So it's a place where we can connect on a bit deeper level, so to speak. But otherwise, one can do it from home. It's great to light the candles because candles represents the soul, and we light the candles and say I light this candle in the memory of that person's soul, and we can say a prayer. Psalms are always great, but it's important to do it with emotions to understand what we say. So say it in English or in Hebrew with translation. And so what can we do? There's something very important, that the dead are connected. Nobody is really dead. Everything is a transition. We never die. Our soul, it's possible that God destroy your soul if you're like a Hitler type of person. Yes, your soul will be completely destroyed and never come back. But in most cases, thank God, our souls is alive and we all stay alive, right? Energy is not created, doesn't disappear. It's constant, it transfers. So the soul is there in heaven and remembers is connected to the physical world. And anybody who thinks of that person and does an action for that person in this world, in the name of that person, the soul is affected by that, especially if it's a relative, but even if it's not a relative, and someone that there's a connection, was connected to you in your life, therefore you have a special connection to that person, to the power of thought, which the main place of the soul is in the thought. So what's happening? What's the best way to help that person, that soul, is so one would say to pray, light a candle, but the most important, and that's that they say the righteous are alive more after their death than before, because the idea is that we try to bring out, and that's why we do something in eulogies, in the good eulogies, where we bring the goodness that person has brought into the world. So the best thing to do is to remind ourselves and to say and to act in a way that reflects that person's legacy or greatness in this world. If it was, let's say, a person that used to give charity to everybody and even to animals, he will feed the animals, all that. So we then take that teaching, take that good action in the name of that person, and we try to do the same. When we do the same action of goodness in the name of that person's soul is alive, still alive, because its name, it's again the name and soul. The word for name, Shem, is in the word neshama. So the name is correspond to the soul. So each time the name is mentioned and I say, I'm going to do this good action because this is what I learned from that person, to do those actions. Who that person used to do that, I'm going to do it in that name. You are keeping that person alive in this world. You're keeping the actions, the teaching, the influence, the positivity of that person in this world, and you make it continue living. So because of that person, now you're going to do a good action, so that person gets credit in heaven. We know we're all interconnected. So that's a great thing to do. You decide to do an action connected to what that person used to do, or you share with other people the great things that that person did, or you share with yourself, with God, with the soul that you want to talk to, that you want to talk to, but that you're praying for, of the good things you learn from that person. And another thing you can do is to do actions in the name of that person, a positive action, even if it's not related to that person. It's better if it is, but it doesn't have to. So therefore, what you do, you say, today I'm going to give charity because of that person. Today I'm going to smile to everyone because that person used to always smile. Today I'm going to do a commandment, a positive commandment, or I'm going to be nicer in the name of for that person. So that's a way to connect to the soul, to elevate the soul, and it enables us to stay connected to that person and in a positive way. And I wanted to conclude with the fact that Jews sometimes don't know that, but the Rambam clearly says in Hilchos Evel, which is the laws of mourning, that when it comes to a non-Jew, we bury, there's a mitzvah to bury the dead and to comfort their mourners and to visit their sick as an expression of peace and harmony, right? Expression of peace, because everything that as a Jew we have to do is to promote unity and peace, and therefore sometimes people say, okay, non-Jews, they don't want to hear about me. No, we have to create unity, we have to create harmony, we have to create peace, and as a Jew, we should show what's the right way to comfort someone else, and the same way with the Jewish way we do it, and so that the non-Jews who don't necessarily know how to do it the proper way. So this is what I wanted to share, and may we all be comforted. I know many of you have lost precious souls, and with this pandemic or other things this year, there was a lot of death past 2 years, and God willing, we should hopefully see a decline in all the deaths, and all be safe and healthy, so that we have a year that is hopefully full of life and not the opposite. May you have an awesome year.